The air crackled with energy. Plungerman gripped his spiked plunger, his knuckles were white. Across the hallway, 3 Skibidi toilets hissed. Their eyes glowed red. Long, sharp claws scraped the floor. They were ready to attack. "Get ready," Plungerman yelled. Dark Speaker Man cracked his knuckles. He held 2 shiny knives. "I was born ready," he growled. The Skibidi toilets lunged. Their claws slashed through the air. Plungerman swung his plunger. It slammed into a toilet bowl with a loud crack. The toilet shattered. Porcelain shards flew everywhere. Dark Speaker Man dodged a claw. He spun and sliced. One knife cut deep. A Skibidi toilet screeched in pain. But there were still 2 left. The fight was just beginning. Plungerman ducked under a swinging claw. He thrust his plunger forward. It hit its target. The Skibidi toilet exploded in a shower of sparks and water. Only one left. Dark Speakerman was locked in a deadly dance. He ducked and weaved. His knives flashed like lightning. But the Skibidi toilet was fast. Too fast. One claw caught Dark Speakerman on the arm. He cried out, "Speakerman!" Plungerman yelled. He charged forward. His plunger glowed with a strange energy. He slammed it down. The Skibidi toilet screamed as it vanished in a blinding flash of light. Plungerman rushed to Dark Speakerman's side. "You okay?" Dark Speakerman winced. "I'll live, but we need to keep moving." They moved through the laboratory. Each room held a new danger. Giant Skibidi toilets with teeth like razors, tiny Skibidi toilets that swarmed and bit, Skibidi toilets that shot lasers from their, well, you know. Lucky Cameraman, the smallest of the group, proved his worth. He had a master key. It opened every door. He scurried ahead, finding shortcuts, unlocking secret passages. "This way," he called, pointing down a narrow hallway. "I think I found a way out." But the hallway was blocked. A mountain of flesh and porcelain twitched and gurgled. It was a Skibidi toilet unlike any they had seen before. "What is that thing?" Plungerman whispered, fear gripping his heart. The flesh mountain erupted. A monstrous Skibidi toilet emerged. It was a patchwork of different toilets fused together. Tubes and wires stuck out at odd angles. Its eyes glowed with a sinister intelligence. It roared. The sound shook the laboratory. The heroes scattered as the mutant Skibidi toilet smashed into the ceiling. Debris rained down. "We have to stop it!" Dark Speakerman shouted. He threw a knife. It bounced harmlessly off the creature's porcelain hide. Plungerman charged. He jumped and swung his plunger. It connected, but the mutant Skibidi toilet barely flinched. It swatted Plungerman aside like a fly. He crashed into a wall. Everything went black. Alarms blared. Red lights flashed. "We have to get out of here!" Lucky Cameraman screamed. He pointed to a door marked exit. They ran. The mutant Skibidi toilet lumbered after them, but it was slow. They were faster. They burst through the door and into a long corridor. At the end of the corridor, a figure waited. He wore a fedora and a single white glove. His eyes glowed with a strange light. He chuckled. It was the Michael Jackson Skibidi toilet, and he was blocking their only escape route. Before they could react, he attacked. He moved like a blur. His gloved hand lashed out. 2 heroes fell. Their screams echoed through the corridor. Plungerman and Dark Speakerman watched in horror. Their friends were gone. Taken by the king of Pop Skibidi toilet. "We have to keep moving!" Lucky Cameraman yelled, pulling them away from the gruesome scene. They fled down a side corridor. The alarms were still blaring. The walls seemed to close in. "It's my fault," Plungerman whispered, his voice choked with guilt. "I should have protected them." "No, it's mine," Dark Speakerman snapped. "If I hadn't been injured..." "This isn't helping," Lucky Cameraman interrupted. "We need to work together if we're going to get out of here alive." He was right. Arguing wouldn't bring back their friends. They had to focus on survival. They pressed on, deeper into the labyrinthine laboratory. The air grew colder. The stench of chemicals burned their nostrils. "I don't like this," Lucky Cameraman muttered. "It's too quiet." He was right. The alarms had stopped. The only sound was the drip, drip, drip of water from a broken pipe. They rounded a corner and stopped dead. At the end of the hallway, a group of Skibidi toilets waited. They were bigger than any they had encountered before. Their porcelain gleamed. Their eyes blazed with cold fury. "This is it," Dark Speakerman said grimly. "This is where we make our last stand." Suddenly, a roar shook the laboratory. The ground trembled. The Skibidi toilets hesitated. Confusion flickered in their eyes. A deep voice boomed through the hallway. "Get back, little ones. This fight is ours." 2 giant figures emerged from the shadows behind the heroes. They were titans, towering figures of metal and muscle, armed with weapons that glowed with an otherworldly light. Behind them, helicopters roared. Soldiers rappelled down ropes, carrying strange, powerful-looking guns. Reinforcements had arrived, just when all hope seemed lost. The battle was fierce, but the tide had turned. The Titans mowed down the Skibidi toilets with their massive weapons. The soldiers provided cover fire, their strange guns firing bolts of pure energy. Plundermen and Dark Speakermen fought alongside their new allies, inspired by their courage, fueled by vengeance. Finally, the last Skibidi toilet fell. The laboratory was silent, except for the moans of the wounded. A tall woman with a stern face approached Plundermen and Dark Speakermen. She wore a lab coat and carried a briefcase. "We've been watching you," she said. "You fought bravely. We need your skills. We have much to discuss, and new weapons to show you." The battle was over, but the war was far from won. Plundermen and Dark Speakermen had a lot to process, and an even bigger fight ahead of them.